does it have to be in character?
I will say because we had a break, because obviously my son was sick, I will say no, it does not have to be in character. We can get an omniscient.
Okay, well, nobody else wants it. I can take a stab at it.
It's all you.
Although I have two demon inspirations, which it's just maybe I did the recap the past couple of times. So if someone else wants to take it, they're welcome to.
Yeah, I'll go.
Go for it.
All right. So we finished fighting the ghouls and zombies. Found out the dead guy was Valdemiro Crowtrap from Targos. We returned his body. Sold some ghoul ichor. Sold some ghoul claws. Met a guy named Justin Hunray who runs Triglio. Bought some, did some buying and selling. We learned of an arcane brotherhood who is looking for some, that are looking for some arcane secrets. That they might be operating out of a place called East Haven. Let's see. We learned that the Church of Auril has a rep named Sybil Sith. Let me try and read my handwriting. Sithrith in the town we're heading to. A Bryn Shander. We did successfully turn in Valdemiro Crowtrap's body. We leveled up. We stayed at an inn. And now we should be leaving Targos and heading to Bryn Shander.
Thank you for that. Go ahead.
And also, no children were eaten during the night.
That is correct. Thanks to the help of your guys' new favorite tiefling. Where did he go? Oh, I archived him. Oh, if you guys are not aware, in Foundry, you have to archive things, otherwise it slows your game down. Scath, the tiefling mercenary veteran. Well, perfect. Well, all right. We've got a recap up and finished. For 1 point of factspiration usable in this session only, everyone has their factspiration from last time. What would your character say to the party with their dying breath? We will start things off with Gaiman, the Glaive.
It was badass though, right?
Oh, damn.
That's awesome. You have your point of factspiration. I love it. Alicia, what would you say to the party with your dying breath?
Ooh, well, this isn't what I imagined.
And then
It is just die out. Yeah.
these are coming off to me very much like Street Fighter things that they say as they get finished in Street Fighter. So I love this. Alicia, you have a point of factspiration usable in this session. Let's move forward to the White Lotus. Lotus, what would you say with your dying breath?
Well, she would hold her notebook out to the rest of the party and say, finish this for me.
I love it. Your factspiration has been given to you. And I'm expecting you guys to remember these so that if you die, you can deliver your dying breath. I'm just kidding. Moving forward, what would Akia say with their dying breath?
Akia would say, well, this is unfortunate.
Key and Alicia are on the same wavelength, apparently.
Fourth. Elian 24.
Okay. Last but not least, what would Raylan say with their dying breath?
Raylan would look coldly at her murderer and say, "I'll be back."
The murderer would be like, "Oh, I'm sure," and then you would be back, and they would they would be very confused. I love it. All right, everyone has their Faxpiration charged and up, and I think a good place for us to begin is we are on the 10 towns map. You guys had time to prepare. The former evening, you had the chance to supply up, and now you are heading out into the wilds of Icewind Dale. I believe with the hopes of getting to Targos.
Bryn Shander.
Or,
We're
excuse
leaving
me.
Targos.
Yes, for leaving Targos, heading to Bryn Shander.
It's right there.
It's right there. What could happen?
No. We put out into the universe.
And you guys are leaving in the morning. The sun, quote unquote, has not risen yet. So you will be leaving in the dark.
Right, but I've got a shiny hand axe now that is, actually shiny. It lights up.
Yes, so the question for everyone, as you venture out into the dark, what light sources are people putting on themselves as you take the trip? Oh, and I need to put on something more appropriate.
Just like before, Lotus will touch the Lotus mark on the forehead of her mask and cast light.
Matt, the light that comes off of the shiny hand axe, is that the equivalent of a light cantrip, or is it
No. It's 5 foot, 5 foot.
5 foot light, 5 foot dim?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, so we got to put 5 foot bright onto Gaming, 10 foot of dim. Perfect.
Same for Ikea. His shield lights up like a Christmas tree.
I love that for you.
But we don't want IKEA to actually Christmas tree, because that will be bad.
Now, is anyone else putting sources of light on themselves?
Is who?
Is anyone else?
Oh, no. Raylan does not.
When Alicia is traveling, normally they would have their lamp turned on, but seeing as everyone else kind of has light sources going, they'll reserve the oil that they have for now.
Excellent. Alrighty. Well, as you guys head out into the darkness, the snow begins to pick up pretty quickly. You do not find yourself in a blizzard, but the weather is quite chilly today, and the snow is falling quite intensely. Thankfully, you guys are not using a flame or a torch as your source of light, because there could potentially be checks made to keep that that light lit. Now, let me move you guys.
Yay, artificers and magic!
Go map. As you begin traveling, this is about an hour down the road, so you're about halfway between Targos and Bryn Shander. Now, if you're seeing some weird things, you are on a part of the road that has fencing and that is kind of squared in by shrubbery and trees. Now, if you have not, if you go onto your token settings with the little gear, you can set your token height, and that's basically how tall your character is. So potentially, if you're taller, you can see over certain things, if that makes sense. And where you do that, you right click, you go to the gear, you go to the identity, and then you can set your token height there.
Pretty sure mine is set. Yeah.
As you guys start moving down the path, your companion Blarton is with you, kind of shivering in the cold. As you are moving your way down the path, in the darkness that's ahead of you, you can see.
Pretty bright.
It's pretty bright,
I mean,
thanks to the light.
maybe. I don't know. I can see a long way. I
Oh,
feel
is
like
it
I can.
in?
I feel like I can see further than I'm supposed to.
Is it in a grayscale?
Yes.
Interesting. Give me one moment here.
Same.
It's in grayscale, but I can kind of see like up to here where it's color, and then everything else past that is all grayscale. But I can pretty much see like things that aren't blocked off by walls.
There was a thing that was checked. What about now? Do you guys still have that setting?
Much
we go.
better. Much
Yep,
better.
there you go.
Now I can only see what the Lotus is giving off.
Okay. Because I'm the DM, my my viewpoint never goes completely dark. So in the spaces ahead of you, probably 100 feet away, you see 12 small pinpoints of light. They are red, and some of them are about 10 feet off the ground. Some of them are very tight to the ground. You can see them from your current position. You don't hear the snow being crunched. You don't hear any movement. Those that have a very sharp sense of smell, you can smell damp fur, and you can see those red pinpoints of light.
Gonna make a perception check, see if they appear in pairs, like pairs of eyes.
Yes.
Alicia can give you assistance on that.
My perception's terrible, so you can make your own if you want.
Fair enough.
Yes. So as you guys are staring forward, Gaiman, you do not. Maybe you can make heads or tails of what's happening in front of you. Lotus, same thing. Alicia, the pinpoints of light are spaced perfectly to be sets of eyes. 6 of them by your count.
Well, looks like there's 6 creatures ahead of us.
Raylan can see perfectly fine and says that, hey, there is a bear, a raccoon, what looks like a fox, some other small creatures, and an elk just ahead. They're not doing anything, but they definitely are looking at us.
Are these points of light moving at all?
They are. They are moving as the creatures subtly move their heads.
Do they move their heads like all in the same fashion?
Yes, they are kind of following a strange pattern of movement, as if they are carefully watching you all.
Maybe let's keep a bit of a wide berth to them.
This does appear to be an unusual situation.
Something's not right.
So is this a gate in the rock wall?
Correct. There is like fencing, and there is. This is kind of what you guys can see from your position in the darkness. If you guys can see that.
But that's not terrifying at all.
Yeah, so you could open that gate if you wished.
Okay. So Garen can see the eyes, but not what's attached to them.
Correct, because they are shrouded in the dim light. They're shrouded by darkness. There's not any dim light covering them.
Okay. Okay. Gaiman is going to open the gate, go through it, close the door. He is going to drop prone. And then he's going to start shimmying along the wall until he thinks he can get to a point where he's past the where the eyes are and like come up behind them.
Okay. As you're doing that, party, you hear the crunching of snow. As kind of all at once, and this is kind of hard to pull off, you see 6 creatures move out into the dim light. You see a bear, an elk, a raccoon, a squirrel, a porcupine, and the last to move out is a fox.
This
All
does
of
not
them.
appear to be standard animal behavior.
All of them have stark white hair. If their tokens do not. Do not worry. They have stark white hair, glowing red eyes, and something that is very strange for those trained in survival and perception. As they breathe out into the air, you can see them breathing. A normal creature, as they breathe, causes condensation in the air. You know, you see that kind of smoke, that cloud. These creatures do not create that as they breathe out.
I'm just going to go off on a limb and say that's not natural.
We should.
At least it's gonna take like a half step back.
Maybe we should try to go around these creatures.
The fox
Yes,
begins to speak.
I think Gaiman had the right idea.
Yeah, I saw him go over this way.
Does Gaiman think that he's like past where the creatures are?
Yes, you are. The fox begins to speak to you all. Hold, do not move. Don't run. We're here for the Midwinter child.
I'll look over to Blarton and say like, I don't know if I picked up some bad tobacco, but is that fox talking to us?
It is talking. What is going on? The porcupine says, "Yeah, we're here for the Midwinter child. Come with us." The elk says, "Come with us, Midwinter child. Don't go with them."
I'm not sure who you all might be talking about. There's clearly no children here.
The squirrel kind of hops up onto the elk's horn, its antler, and says, "Oh, that's where you're wrong. That one," as it points to Ikea, "that one is blessed by Auril. We can smell it. We can see it. Come with us, Midwinter child."
I have important business to take care of right now. I cannot be following strange animals into the woods at this time?
Oh, we're not strange. We're normal, the raccoon says to you. We just want to have a little party with you.
You seem to be statistically improbable.
The Icewind Dale fox nods its head, as in, yes, I am improbable.
Yo, this is the feelings I'm getting off of these things.
Your vibe
Yeah.
check is correct.
That's what my passive insight's giving me.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
The fox's little feet crunch in the snow. Do we have to make you come with us? Do we have to make you come?
I will not be traveling with you today.
Can Gaiman hear the conversation from where he is? I mean, he's I don't know how far away the creatures are, and he's like down below the stone wall.
Oh yeah, you can definitely hear. They are enunciating themselves pretty loudly.
Okay. What would I need to do to like hop the wall and like come out on the road?
Just give me an athletics check as you hop the wall to see how well you do it. Yeah, you clear the wall with a stunning alacrity as you land in the snow.
Can I have some help, DM? There's
Yes.
a wall in my way.
As you jump over the wall, the raccoon says, Be Willikers! One of them has surprised us.
Yeah, someone said something about a party, and I don't think I got my invite. That's very rude.
Well, we just wanted the Midwinter child, but do you want to come too?
That's up to my friend.
As I said,
It-
I will not be traveling with you today.
Well, it sounds like you just got your answer. Jog on.
The creature tries to stare you in the eyes, Akia. It kind of snorts its snort. It kind of paws at the snow a little and says, You'll come with us eventually. Come on, everyone. These people seem to be in a hurry. We'll find you, child. We'll find you. We'll find you. And the animals begin to move away as they kind of do a weird laughing trill as they walk out into the snow. You all let them leave.
Sure. Just gonna walk up to Akia.
That was highly unusual.
I'm not usually one to judge one's faith, but, what the fuck?
I agree with that sentiment.
We should be more careful traveling in the dark. They may be able to surprise us.
Oh, they most definitely will. And
Yes,
I don't feel like sticking if they decide to change their minds, so maybe we should hurry.
Yes, we should move along. And tell you this: the winters in Baltimore can get rough, but it's never threatened by cute animals before.
I don't think they're that cute. The only cutesy thing about them was they thought they could make us do something we didn't want to do.
I mean, it was cute
Yes.
that they were talking, but the fact that they also wanted to most likely murder all of us and then drag off Akia, not so much.
I think Akia would like to do an insight check on the animals, just to see if I can gain any particular insight other than the obvious.
Sure. You can give a insight check. I'll have you know. You will be doing it against the Icewind Dale fox.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. I need to rule this in private.
Iki is not normally very insightful, but
Bullshit.
Oh
that
shit.
was
Oh,
unprivate.
damn.
The Icewind Dale fox was inscrutable. It seemed that you could not read its emotions on its cold red eyes.
All right. Which way we go, George?
What does the sign read?
The sign reads Bryn Shander, and it would be to the right.
This way?
I must say, Gaiman, that was actually a very clever move on your part, wanting to get the flank on them.
I mean, it just, it was, it made sense.
And you see Lotus's writing in her notebook as she was like, "Do you have previous experience in combat like that? Have you been a soldier, perhaps?"
No, not like that specific. Oh, Barton, catch up, mate.
Sorry, I was just providing a middle guard for us and Miss Raylan. And you guys are able to follow the path for the next hour without interruption by cute, cuddly, some might say Yuletide critters.
No, sorry, Ray, I didn't realise you were, pulling up the rear.
Have any of you been invited to a party by woodland critters before?
Can't say I
Can't
have.
say I have.
Just
Not-
checking.
Not woodland critters specifically, but by something a bit more ugly. But I can. And you see Lotus just sort of zones out for a moment and then shakes her head. But I can tell you about that later.
I mean, we've got, a bit of a walk ahead of us. You can tell us now.
Sort of grumbles a bit to herself and just thinks for a moment. Says, "Well, it's a bit of a long story, and I'd rather tell it in a bit more of a safe environment. You can never be sure who might be listening." She just sort of looks around.
All right. I mean, I don't know who out here is going to be, trying to eavesdrop.
You would be so.
Besides, I mean, when you're with me, you're safe as houses.
She does give you a soft smile at that comment and say, "I appreciate that, Gaiman. That's, I have a lot of personal experience with people who have rather interesting abilities and equipment who can listen in on conversations from long distances. I mean, for all we know, someone might be spying or scrying on us right now, and we wouldn't be none the wiser."
Oh, wait, you talking about that magic nerd shit? All right. Fair enough.
Raylan glares at Gaiman but says nothing, eyes glowing in the darkness.
So, what colors are Raylan's eyes glowing?
They are also glowing very slightly red in the darkness. It's definitely something you didn't notice before and is quite pronounced.
Lotus sees that and be like, ooh, I can make mine do that too. And she lightly taps the side of her mask, and you see hers like light up bright purple.
Raylan looks at Lotus for just a few moments, kind of inquisitively. A wry smile crosses her face, and she looks away. You can't tell if she's amused, unimpressed, or what exactly she's thinking.
Then she taps the mask again, and the eye on her glow in her eyes goes away, but of course the light still stays.
The companion to your party will answer the question that was presented. I have never been asked to party with woodland critters. That is quite strange. I am quite sure that traveling with you all, I will see many a strange thing, potentially even the thing that will cause my death. So I am not sure if I will be able to continue, but I will do my best.
Oh, wait, hold on. What makes you think you're gonna die?
I just get this strange feeling about those critters we just saw. They were quite spooky.
Well, I mean, you're being daft, is what you're doing. You're being, you're being a silly willy. Because, if they're gonna threaten my mate, Barton, they got another thing coming.
As you say that, Blarton kind of stands up a little taller. He didn't know you considered him a mate, so he's like, "Well, that makes me feel much better. Maybe I shouldn't be afraid of those woodland critters at all."
Oh
Well-
no, I don't know what they can do, but I mean, I like the idea of some roast bear on a spit. Yeah. Well, I mean, you held your own on against the zombie whatsits. So yeah, I'm sorry, Lotus. You've been trying to say something.
No, it's all right. There is one thing to keep in mind, that fear by itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can help you be cautious and on your guard, like with certain things.
Well, then I will try to do my best to maintain a appropriate level of fear.
Yeah, I did.
So, as the conversation continues, you're able to make the path without any random encounters, and I will activate the Bryn Shander map, and I will give you some information about Bryn Shander. Bryn Shander is the first stop for most visitors when they come to Icewind Dale. Bryn Shander is a walled town perched atop a cold, lonely, wind-lashed hill. There are lanterns suspended over narrow streets, twisting in the wind, that add flecks of color to this town's otherwise very drab surroundings. You would know this, Lotus. The friendliness of this settlement has dwindled as of late. Auril's winter has greatly reduced the numbers of visitors to the Dale and to Bryn Shander, and the trade has suffered for it, eating away at the local sense of good humor and will. Still, there's no safer place in Icewind Dale to spend coin or to spend the night. The walls of the town stand some 30 feet high and are defined by 2 concentric rings of upright wooden poles. The gap between them is filled with dirt and rubble. The outer ring of the poles rise above the top of the town, providing a rampart for defenders stationed on the wood-planked walkway. The town's gates are roughly 15 feet tall and can be barred from the inside. These gates are closed when it's dark outside, which is to say, more often than not. So you all arrive to the north gate. You can see stationed on the walkway of the north gate are 2 guardsmen. Akia, one of which you might recognize. As you all approach, the guardsman hails out to you. "Hail, travelers! Welcome!"
Akia recognizes?
Oh, did I say Akia? I meant to say Lotus.
It's all right. Lotus will smile up and say, "Ah, well met. Have you been picking up more shifts recently?"
Well, yes. As you know, coin is getting tight around here in Bryn Shander, and every shift is just a few more coins in my pocket. It seems you have some friends with you there.
Ah, yes. I did bring back Sir Bladehelm. He has been quite the help on our journey, and these are the ones that I have been asked to retrieve. And I just motion with my hands towards the others in the party.
Oh! And one of the guards nudges her, and she's like, "Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry." And she says, "Well met, newcomers to Bryn Shander. Keep your fingers and extremities under wraps. Let Auril bite you. Mind your tempers, and you'll be welcome here. Brought goods to sell? The market lies straight ahead. I recommend a drop of Firebeard's Fire Brandy, sold at Kelvin's Comfort, located on your right as you enter the market square."
Akia begins binding his hands.
I can't remember. Do they give this spiel every time someone enters Bryn Shander? I feel like I've heard this before.
The dwarf manning the gate says, "Oh yes, it is my duty to make sure that I give that speech each time."
Are you?
Ah, yes,
Well,
I do remember you gave this speech the first time I was here, even though I was being pulled in on a stretcher by some trappers.
Are the rest of you not keeping your fingers under wraps?
I think it's a figure of speech. Mostly just watch and don't touch things that aren't yours.
And for the record, if Auril tries to bite me, I'm gonna fucking bite him back. I could go bite for bite with anyone.
That would be amusing to see, actually. But in any case, we do have business in town. Are we allowed in?
She says, "Aye, of course. You're Thanes of Ten Towns, and you hold a guard of Ten Town with you." And you can hear Blarton roll his eyes so hard at her. The dwarf starts to work her way down the gate and starts to unbolt the gate to let you in. You can hear through the door, Lotus. She says, "Lotus, I I do have something to tell you. You know Sheriff Markham Southwell?
Like, well, of course I do.
So everyone knows who that is. She says, well, I have to tell you something. He's finally single.
Let's look at him and like, you know, well, he did always seem to have a bit of an eye for me. Perhaps, I might, see if there's something there. But, I appreciate you, looking for me, but, business before pleasure, of course.
Of course, and the gate door starts to swing open. And there you see the 3.5-foot tall dwarf, who, as a dwarf, is also about 3.5 to 4 feet wide.
Perfectly balanced.
Just as all things should be. She takes a look at you all and she says, Is that game in the glaive?
Yeah, what's it to you?
Well, I heard you once tore a man in half in the fighting pits. Is that true?
Maybe.
Well, maybe that's how you earned your right as Thane, then.
Nah, that's not why I got named Thane. They just want me to get the fuck out of town.
Well, if you do happen to rip anyone in half in this town, make sure it's a bad guy.
I mean, if I'm gonna tear someone in two, I mean, obviously they're being a bad guy to me, so yeah, okay, no problem.
Says, perfect. And as she looks around, she says, wait, that armor, the fur, are you a Kia?
That is correct.
Now, if I'm wrong about this, don't tear me up too hard, but did they make you the Thane of Goodmead because you can talk to the bees?
No.
Oh. Well, that's the rumor going around town.
That does seem quite absurd.
So, just to be sure, you can't talk to bees.
I've never met anyone that can speak to bees.
Well, maybe that's a goal that for the people of Goodmead, to find a bee talker. Well, all right. I'm sorry to have to kept you all, but enjoy your stay in Bryn Shander.
Wait, I have a question. So, if it's like, there's such a thing as like a horse whisperer. So, if a bee talker is like a horse whisperer, does that make them a like a bee hummer or bee buzzer or something like that?
She nods her head and says, a bee hummer. That sounds like it could be a title of the Speaker of Goodmead. You should write that down, Akia.
I will take that into consideration.
Now that I think about it, maybe bee hummer. That's like kind of inappropriate for like most folks.
It's like, as you say that, Lotus has got like her hand over her mouth, trying to stifle a chuckle under her breath.
Yeah, on second thought. Okay, don't say that you're a bee hummer. That's not articulate for polite company. Yeah.
Akia will hand Ogric a small stone and will say, they like the smell. And he'll just keep walking past into the city.
Excellent. Yeah, you the guards say their goodbye as you guys walk into the city. No one tries to like stop you or anything. As you walk in, you do know from perhaps Blarton or perhaps Lotus, the North Look Inn is not too far away from the North Gate, maybe 300 feet from the gate. But where do you all want to head first in the city?
What time of day is it?
Let me adjust the clock. It was 8 a.m. as you guys left. It would be a 2-hour trip from Targos. So we'll say it is actually right about 11:30.
Okay, so most of the shops, apothecaries, the library should be open. Raylan looks around at the group and asks, do we stick together or meet up here in a few hours?
Well, this who's the lady who wanted to meet with us? Did she want to meet here at the inn? Looking at Lotus. This Danica Greysteel.
Ah, yes. Miss Greysteel did want to meet us. But if you all don't mind, I need to make a stop in the market first. I'm down to my last cigarette, and I need to get the materials to roll up some more.
So it seems like we're splitting up. Then maybe meet back at the North Look within an hour or two?
That sounds good. Shouldn't take me long to get the things. And if you all have any other questions, you may ask me. I've not a native, but I've been here for quite a while. Bryn Shander here's been like a second home to me.
Well, I'll be quite honest. I think I'm just going to go visit the House of the Morning Lord, and then I'll be right back.
Raylan is going to set off in the direction of. I assume this is not anyone's first trip to Bryn Shander, and so they ought to know where to find the library or tinkerer's shop, stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah. You guys would have knowledge of Bryn Shander, so you would know how to get to the places here that are listed on the map.
Jamie would be kind of fidgety and looking around to see if anyone would invite him along. And if not, out of just not being able to tell time, he's just going to stay put and go into the tavern.
Cayman, you seem to, if you wouldn't mind accompanying me, I do seem to be a favorite for attempting to be. I'd like to go visit the Church of Auril, and they will attempt to recruit me. And I would rather not be recruited.
The Church of Auril? Oh, that. I mean, if you want to go there, I didn't realize they had a church devoted to that. That's kind of impressive. But I mean, that's kind of, we've only been hanging out for a little bit, mate.
I simply wish to stop in for a couple of minutes and leave quickly. Very quickly.
Okay, but I mean, if you only last a couple of minutes, that's no way to go about things.
I do not understand what your meaning is.
You're talking about, getting oral sex, right?
No.
Alicia does giggles as she walks off.
What are you going on about then? You said Church of Auril. Oral sex.
The Church of Auril is a church devoted to Auril, the goddess.
Oh, okay. My bad. My bad. Okay, that actually makes a bit more sense. Although I'm not gonna lie, it would be a pretty impressive name for a house of pleasure to be called the Church of Oral. So, and I think that is lost on you. Anyway, all right. I will follow you, and I will make sure that no one steals you away from the party. Got it.
On the contrary, my book, WebMD, fully explains.
Fully explains.
OOC, there are children in the room.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, when you break it down in those terms, that's kind of, boring. No, yeah, lead on, and I'll make sure nobody tries to strong arm you into signing up for, their cause.
All right, so that's what we do.
So we get a huge split up here of the party. Okay. Let's resolve it this way. Let's start with Alicia. Let's start with your side story here. Alicia, so you're going to the House of the Morning Lord here in Bryn Shander.
Yep. Pretty much. Oh, I guess actually, now that I think about it, they would have, while we're on our way to Bryn Shander, they would have kind of informed the party of the stuff that they had learned in Targos. What was it? Hold on. So just for you guys' notification, there's not a bounty for undead, but it seems there was a band of adventurers who were planning an expedition on the side of Kelvin's Cairn, and it looks like they're looking for a Goliath, something about lycanthropy. And then she was just looking for information on the shipwright. So going to this church of the Morning Lord, similar thing, asking of, because there was one of the ice knife murders that occurred here, so she'll be asking if they had any information, if they got a chance to look at the body, if there's anything that's been passed along to them. It seems she's in the middle of this investigation, so to speak, so she's just trying to get information.
Sure. And party, and just wanted to give you the chance there. Does anyone react to that information that Alicia has given you?
I think it would make sense for Akia to delay their trip to the Church of Auril, since it was directly related to that.
Okay,
Now,
so
sorry.
Go ahead.
Lotus will be, of course, taking out notebook, writing fiercely. Now, when you say lycanthropy, you mean things like werewolves and the like?
Exactly.
So, here, how do you tend to deal with werewolves? Is it silvered weaponry, is it?
No idea. Never encountered one. I imagined, from rumors that I've heard, silver may work. But again, I can't say for certain.
I mean, Goliaths get pretty big. I mean, maybe it's just a Goliath and then like some furs. I mean, why is it always got to be like werewolves and shit?
It is possible that they turn into a giant on a full moon.
Now that's just racist. Goliaths do not go giant size on full moons.
Well, I am just telling you what I have heard so far.
Oh, see, I had mentioned this. David, they have a patch for Goliaths in the latest release for 1D&D, and
Mhm.
that is a feature of the new Goliath that you get to turn big.
But not on the full moon. So he is correct. Not on the full
Not
moon.
on a full moon, but you
See,
do
like I said, racist.
So I was gonna.
That does kind of make sense.
Mhm. You get to be a big boy. Does that change Akia and Gaiman's plan then? Would you guys not go to the Church of Auril? Would you go with Alicia or another one of your party members?
Guess I would go with Alicia then to wait to see what they were doing, see what
Right.
information they got.
Yeah, if you're willing to wait, then Alicia will accompany you guys to the Church of Oral. She won't be happy about it, but she'll
This is
but
boring. I don't want to wait around. Let's do something.
Well, you could always come with me, Gaiman. I'm making a trip to the general store, pick up some things. Maybe you might need something.
Do they have weapons there?
Well, maybe not at this store, but I'm sure someplace in the market will have something.
No. I'm gonna stick with the gear because people always wanted to, do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, and it just he's an impressionable lad, and I don't want him to, get mixed up with the wrong sort.
Very well. I shall leave you to that then.
you make it sound like we always go out and recruiting people.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying you specifically. It's just like that's what churches do, right?
They just give you a wry smile, and it's like it's only on certain occasions, and it just continues walking.
It is on the occasions when they talk to you. He says, Akia says to Gaiman.
See, that's what I was saying.
So as you guys get closer to the House of the Morning Lord, I can give you some information about it because you're going there. The House of the Morning Lord, located in the northeast Market Square. This modest converted house serves as a gathering place for worshippers of Lathander. Fun thing known about Lathander, to represent kind of the different phases that the sun takes as it kind of moves across the sky, or some days it's a harsh sun, some days it's just warm and cozy, some days it's sunshine behind a cloud. It can be represented by male or female forms. The priest that is assigned to the House of the Morning Lord here in Bryn Shander is a human woman named Michonne. So, Yeah, when you guys arrive to the house of the Morning Lord, she is there in the house tidying things up. However, there's no worshippers there. You don't see any parishioners. You don't see any other acolytes besides Mishon.
Alicia will kind of walk in, give a little light tap on the door frame if it's an open door.
Yes, you can enter, and as you make a little noise, Michonne turns to the doorframe and she says, "Oh, welcome to the house of the Morning Lord. Please come in, come in."
Has Alicia met this individual on her trips to Bryn Shander?
I would say absolutely.
Okay. And would be like a higher station than Alicia? I think they're more of a acolyte, so like probably lower level in the faith.
Yes, Michonne is a retired adventurer in such the way that she retired before really her adventuring journey could start because she received an injury. You've talked with people about this in the Church of the Morning Lord in Targos. So she is of a lower station than you are.
Okay.
So as she recognizes you when you come in, she says, "Oh, Lady Alicia, what, what are you doing here and with your two guests?"
Miss Shawn, it's good to see you. Hopefully the light of Lathander has been keeping you warm here.
Warm as it can be, but Auril's grasp threatens our light every day.
Well, one of these days the veil of darkness will be pierced by his shining light. But enough of that. Oh, how rude of me. My two companions. This is Akia, and kind of motions to our metallic friend, and Gaiman the Glaive, motioning to the.
Hello.
Greetings.
Welcome to the House of the Morning Lord, and welcome to Bryn Shander, the city on the hill.
I was curious, and this may be a little bit of grim news. We came across a murder on our travels between Bryn Shander and Targos. One involving a very distinct knife made of ice.
Oh, you've found a victim of the ice knife killer.
Unfortunately, yes. Has there been any information, more recent information here? Since the one that occurred in Bryn Shander was more recent than what we just came across.
Oh, there's a very prominent member of the Bryn Shander community was killed. Lonus Glasslungs was killed. He's a glassblower here in Bryn Shander. Quite wealthy.
Have the guards made any progress in their investigations, or?
Well, they would if they weren't busy shopping at Torg's pop-up market.
Well, seems like we haven't gotten much information here. That's quite unfortunate.
Yes,
But maybe
that.
maybe we'll go see if the ones at this pop-up market know anything.
Yes, the Torgs is this. It travels from town to town, and Torga, the woman who operates it sells her goods, and it's kind of a bane on the community, if you ask me, and underselling all of the fine establishments here in Bryn Shander.
Hmm. She'll turn to her companions. Well, this isn't exactly what I anticipated. Seems to maybe a little bit of another stop.
If
But-
we've gained all the information we can, we should make our way. Also, I do not believe we should spend too much time on these ice knife killer situations.
True. But we are in the area, so may as well figure out what we can in case we come across more. But, turning back to Michonne, I'll be staying for maybe a day or so, so if there's any new information you learn of, please let me know.
Of course, my lady, of course. And yes, from what I've heard, the glassblower was murdered in a similar way, and a knife to the heart. It's so terrible. I mean, he was an upstanding member of the community, made beautiful artwork, beautiful home.
Yes,
I wonder why he was murdered.
well, there was a shipwright in Targos that was murdered. It seems people of upstanding nature seem to, or at least business, something associated with businesses, it seems. But in any case, thank you for your information. Just give her a
My
short
pleasure.
bow.
She returns the bow, and as she bows, you guys hear a loud banging coming from the second floor. Dunk, 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 dunk. And then you hear a small "Ka-chow!" like an explosion.
What was that?
Yeah.
She says, I rented the attic of the House of the Morning Lord. She blushes. Tough times. To a tinkerer.
Oh. Kind of turns and looks at Akia. You're also a tinkerer yourself, are you not?
That is correct. However, I have no interest in this situation.
Fair enough.
What? You too good to learn a thing or two?
I am quite busy already, and there are plenty of things that I can learn at the library at my convenience.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't there like a difference between learning it in a book versus like someone teaching it to you?
Apprenticeship is, well, having that interaction between master and students can be quite useful.
Akia is silent at that.
But no pressure. We may still have time since we're going to be here for a little bit.
Are you saying that we should investigate the explosion?
It doesn't sound like anyone is horribly hurt or screaming. I think it should be all right.
Oh, it's one of my tenants' mini experiments. They're a gnome
Well-
tinkerer, and there are always things going pop, boom, and crackle up there.
See, no more occurrence.
Yeah, but I mean, if they hurt themselves really bad and like they went into like shop, like wouldn't they pass out and not like be able to say or do anything? It could be genuinely hurt up there.
Akia looks a bit perturbed, and as much as their face can give off emotions such as that, and they'll say, "Very well, let's quickly go check and make sure they are okay."
Look at Sean to
they'll
lead the way.
they'll just start heading upstairs.
Okay.
David will follow close at Akia's heels. Not let anyone going to prospect eyes to you.
I hope not.
As you guys are heading upstairs, Mishan will say to you, Alicia, you have some very ambitious and lively traveling companions.
That you are right. That you are right.
As you guys are walking up the stairs, you see the door to an attic. The door has a sign that says, The Workshop of Copper Knobberknocker, World's Greatest Inventor.
Just writing that down. Akia will go knock on the attic. You said they'll go knock on the attic entrance door if it's a door.
Sure. You hear a very kind of small voice kind of cough and go, come in.
Akia will open the doorway. Is it like one of those drop down stairways into an attic, or is it like a you go up to the attic, there's a door? I don't know. You just said attic, so
yeah, you ascend the stairs, and there is a door into the attic. And not a kind of a trapdoor that pulls down. It is a open into the attic room.
all right. Akia will open the door. We heard an explosion and are coming to make sure you are okay.
Sorry, he when I popped his token down, it popped him the size of a very small person. This is Copper Knobberknocker. He looks to you and says, oh, I'm all right. Just mixed a little bit too much of this with a little bit too much of that. I'm trying to make a potion that makes your skin very warm, so you do not have to wear a fuzzy outfit outside.
Oh. This kind of piques Alicia's interest.
Apparently, it keeps exploding as I mix them together. But quite all right.
Perhaps try not doing that.
But this is for science. I cannot just abandon science.
Sure you can. It's called you leave the room, close the door, and you don't get your, eyebrows burnt off by explosions.
They'll grow back, don't worry. I've had worse things get blown off of me than my eyebrows, and I've grown those back. I can surely figure this formula out.
What, you regrew your diggling?
He looks at you perturbed. He says, I was speaking of my eyelashes. No, I have not burned that off. Not
What the
quite
hell do
yet.
you want eyelashes for? I mean, your diggling's your most important part on your body.
He says, my most important part is my brain. He stands there with his hands on his hips as he says this.
Oh, well, I mean, if you value your brain over your twig berries, I mean, that's the own look at.
He nods and says, I do. But it is okay that you value that more than I do. That is your opinion, and I hope that you honor it.
Well, I will say, probably want to be a little bit more careful with your alchemical concoctions.
It would be inconvenient if you were to burn down the House of the Morning Lord.
Yes.
DM, may I make an Arcana check on what he is doing?
Absolutely. If you had alchemist supplies, I'd say you could have advantage on this if you have that skill with training.
Alicia is also trained in Arcana. Can I give him advantage on this?
Absolutely. As you guys kind of discuss what alchemical reagents he has out and amount. It seems that he is trying to break down the alchemical components of alchemist fire and combine them with some components of a potion of resistance and turn it into a topical salve.
Can I tell where they're going wrong?
With your Arcana check, yes. It seems that he does not have a good catalyst for the two ingredients so that when they come in contact, they don't explode. If he could find a proper catalyst, he could create a solution that would cause a warming effect over the whole body without the need for heavy winter clothes.
It seems that you are missing something to keep the alchemist fire ingredients from spontaneously combusting.
He says,
Perhaps something that would keep the oxygen from mixing.
He starts to scratch his head. Well, I'm tapped out on ideas for today. Maybe I should head to the Northlook for some mead. Maybe after some mead I'll have a good idea. But thank you, Akia. You're Akia, aren't you?
That is correct. I have a suggestion. Try combining your ingredients inside of a evacuated vial situation. If you can prevent the ingredients from mixing in open air, that might prevent this from happening again.
He starts to stroke his beard. I will try this. I will use my mage hand and see if that helps.
That's actually quite a brilliant solution there, Kia.
Thank you.
And he rushes down past you all to head to the bar for his mead. Do you all have any other business with the two NPCs at the House of the Morning Lord? Otherwise, we will flash to one of the other members of our merry band.
Nope. That was all that I wanted to do here, try and get some information. It seems like there's this pop-up store to go to, but we'll probably just follow Akia and what he does.
Absolutely. Perfect. So we can pop in with Raylan here. Raylan, it seems that you're looking for some seedy mages and some spell scrolls.
Yeah, Raylan's been here a time or two and has a contact here in town. She doesn't go as herself though, so she's shape-shifted a couple of times and is unrecognizable to anyone outside of Bryn Shander. And so knocks on the door of a nondescript building to see if the owner is home.
They have installed one of those little slider doors that they can slide the door open so it's just their eyes. And they see you standing outside.
The slide opens. I press my face to it and change only the face, not the rest of the body, back to my a face that they recognize and say, "It's me."
They nod, and the door slowly unlocks, and it opens enough so that you can walk through.
Okay, I quickly walk through the entrance and let the door close behind me and say, "It's been a while. Is there anything that I should know? How are things?"
They say, very bad. Very, very, very bad.
Oh,
The church of Auril has convinced the speaker to make some changes in town that you and I and many others would probably consider to be unsavory.
Hmm. Is there anyone we can influence to unmake that decision?
Well, as you know, the speaker is quite young and impressionable, and the Church of Auril is quite convincing with the everlasting night, the creatures that hound the road, all of that sort of thing. So she is quite eager to please.
Perhaps one of us should pay her a visit.
Your contact nods. Yes. Hopefully, the changes stop at what they have done so far. Anything else, and business, ordinary and not so much ordinary, will be hard to conduct.
Is there someone inside the church we can eliminate? Send a message, you know.
The head of the church, by my understanding, is a powerful priest of Auril. Some sort of connection to their domain.
Do they bite?
I will say yes, we can use Fanspo from Twitch points.
Oh, okay. That answers that question.
Yes, absolutely.
Raylan bristles slightly at the mention of Auril's name, but otherwise keeps her emotions in check. Who exactly is this priest?
I believe her name is Sybil, Cyril, Sybil. It's something like that. Sybil. So hard these days keeping track of their names. They're so silly. It's like they just make them up off the top of their head.
See. Well, how long do we have?
Well, their first order has already been executed. And, well, there's another month until the next new moon and the next sacrifice. And who knows when this ice knife killer is to strike again. We don't have very long.
I'll see what I can do. Can you give me any aid?
They nod. Yes, normally I would charge you for this, but perhaps it is better if you have some of these in case of emergency. And they reach underneath a floorboard and kind of pull it to the side, and they pull out a bag. They're like, it is hard these days finding good ingredients and finding people who know how to work with them. With the Church of Auril squeezing everyone, and, of course, the rumors of the Arcane Brotherhood running around, all of the mages are quite hard to work with. And he hands you a bag that you can tell is filled with glass objects.
Okay, I open the covering of the bag and glance into it very briefly, and then resecure it. And how big is this bag?
It is the size of like a shoe draw bag, that you can cinch close.
Okay. So too big to put in my own pouch or fanny pack.
Yes, you would have to put it into your large pack that you carry with you, I would say.
Okay, I do that and say, thank you. I'll look through these later. Is there anything I can do for you?
He looks to you. Oh, well, now that you say that, of course.
Go on.
Well, there's been rumors going through the underworld of Ten Towns that there's been some sort of odd crash in Ten Towns. Some sort of ship. The information that I have on it is very limited. Hearsay from tavern goers and from milk drinkers. But a ship crashing? How would a ship crash in Ten Towns? And where from? The sea of moving ice is a solid block.
Odd indeed.
Oh, so we get a reference of who you're talking to.
That's number
Oh
2.
dear. Okay. Thank you for that. And can you point me in the direction of this ship? And it's not, I don't do air quotes, but it's implied that I don't know if I quite believe the story.
The contact looks to you and says, do you have a map of the Dale?
Absolutely.
As you pull out your map, here, let me quickly take us to map of Ten Towns. Have you seen? Oh. And let me activate. Says, it's not quite to the Reghed Glacier, but, and let me use the drawing tool here. From what I have heard, it is somewhere near this bend in the river coming off of Loch Denishire.
All right. Thank you. Are you hoping for treasure, or do you just want intel? What exactly do you need?
I want to know what this ship is. It could potentially be quite valuable, whether it is monetary or magical or martial power. Either way, we need it.
Quite far away, but I will make time for it at some point. Is that all?
The contact nods. And if you guys want to write that down in your quest log as the contact ship, or the ship needing contact, something like that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I already jotted it down. Seems to be to the northeast of Caer Koenig.
The contact will say, just stay safe and incognito out there. Those acolytes of Auril are quite insane.
Do you have a picture or portrait of this priest?
The contact takes just a slight step back and starts to perform the somatic components. Here, let me take us back to Bryn Shander of the minor illusion cantrip, and he produces a image.
That is the priest of Auril.
Of Sybil.
And Raylan smiles as she transforms into a mirror image of Sybil, the high priest of Auril, and says, I have an idea.
The contact smiles like the Grinch when he thinks of his plan to cancel Christmas.
All right. I thank him. I secure the bag of trinkets he's gifted me, and I proceed to the door, and I change my image to be another nondescript inhabitant of Bryn Shander, and prepare to walk out of the door.
Okay, perfect. Oh man, this Bryn Shander place is kind of really filling out here with NPCs. Everybody. So, last but not least, Lotus, where were you heading as these side stories are all coming to a head?
Lotus would head to the market and head to, I guess probably her usual place, to the uh, general store, to just like before, like she's probably been several times before, to pick up some more rolling papers and dried tobacco, because she, it's like she walks very uh, briskly. As she approaches, her fingers start shaking a bit. She tries to reach for the cigarette. She's like, no, no, have to save it, have to save it. I don't know how much they have. And then she just takes a deep breath, calms herself, and as she walks into the store, she'll kill the light spell that's on her mask.
Absolutely. And the as you head into the store, you are able to purchase the things you need. Were you planning on saving your library trip for when you could hook back up with Akia, or were you going to head there on your own?
Yeah, Lotus would know how excited Akia was to go to the library, and would definitely wait till they join back up to do that.
Perfect. So yeah, you can pick up that sort of stuff, no issue. Uh, get your cigarettes, your rolling papers, all of those sort of things. Not a big deal, and I'm not going to nickel and dime you for those because those aren't have a mechanical effect on the game. Now,
I
Purdy, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just one other thing, real quick. I would say, as she would be, paying for the stuff, you'd be like, "So, I hear tell that the sheriff is back on the market again."
The shopkeeper who, hmm, let's see here, fantasy name generator. Give us a good one. Ooh, that's a good one. Uh, Aboff Mez, the shopkeeper here at this general store here in Bryn Shander, looks to you and says, "Wait, the sheriff is single? Oh, there is a new hot commodity on the market."
Well, when we were coming in, Augrek the guard let me in on let me in on that. But I think they're kind of concerned about me. Been seeing, me by myself quite a bit, and reminds me a lot of my mother. She's always asking me, "When are you going to get married? When are you going to settle down and find a nice man?" And I'm like, "Well, when you find a nice man for me, you can let me know."
Well, there's no nicer man in the city of Bryn Shander than Sheriff Markham. He's a. If he wasn't here, I'm sure the city would just fall apart.
Well, I'm sure I'll have to stop by and see him sometime. He did always seemed concerned for me since I came here. But have you heard of any other rumors, any other interesting goings on since I left?
So, well, you're going to be pretty surprised when you go to what I assume is one of your favorite places in town. The Church of Auril has made quite a few changes here in just the last few days.
Oh, yes, I'm sure they have. We ran into a few of their followers on the way here.
What? You like children of Auril? What did you run into?
Would you believe some wildlife that can actually talk in common?
They look at you like you just said some crazy ass shit. They're like, what? Talking animals?
Yes, I know. I could hardly believe it myself.
Ugh. That's just nuts. You sure you saw talking animals? I mean, dragons I can understand, but a talking squirrel? That's just weird.
Well, they did seem to be very interested in another member of our party, but we were on our way here and had other things to take care of, and well, just be careful of these things. Some interesting things going on lately.
They nod. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to ruin the surprise for you when you see what they did to the library, so I'll let you see yourself.
Her interest perks up a bit at the mention of the library, and she just sort of sighs and says, "Oh, I can't wait to see it. Well, thank you, and I'll be back again for more supplies," she says as she sort of shakes the small container of dried tobacco.
Well, it's the least we can do. You know, we're only one of a few shops in town that carry that here at the Dry Snowman.
Yes, actually, it's interesting. Where I'm from, you go to a store like this, you buy them. They are already rolled for you. They have a fancy machine that does it.
Like, you gotta be kidding. A machine that rolls your smokes for you? You're always coming up with the best jokes.
She gives a bit of a grin. I'm like, well, apparently. Does make me wonder why I haven't found a good man or woman or something else lately. But, you keep warm and say hello to the wife for me.
Absolutely. Well, you know what they say. All the good men and women are getting sacrificed to Auril.
Hopefully I can snag one up before that happens. And then she'll just give a polite wave and then head out before wanting to join up with the others.
Sure. Absolutely. So, party. Did you guys have a planned meetup spot?
Northlook Inn. I think we said like an hour or so.
Perfect. So you guys all head to the Northlook?
Sounds good to me.
Alrighty. So let me just make sure I have that map preloaded and ready to go. And let me take you guys to the scene. Akia cannot allow the science to go undone, can you? And by Akia, do we mean Matthew?
It's the same character. It's a self-indulgent character completely.
And that's okay. So as you guys get closer to the Northlook Inn, it's only about 300 feet away from the North Gate. And you guys would know that this establishment is most frequented by mercenaries, adventurers, and it's the rowdiest and most dangerous place for a drink in Bryn Shander.
No, it's not. But as soon as I set foot in there, it will be.
But yeah, you guys have full control. As you enter, the music should change to. Let me just change that.
Demon is going to burst in and say, "Oi! All right, you reprobates. Ale and meat and keep it coming."
A balding man, who some might describe as cheerful, nods to you as he is cleaning his glass. A woman sitting at the rear of the inn perks up as you all enter. She has a look of someone who has been waiting for someone for a long time. And as she sees you all, she smiles from ear to ear and motions for you all to come and join her around the fire and to pet this orange cat that is lounging on the bearskin rug.
Does she have a yellow exclamation mark over her head?
Oh, it is yellow and it is outlined and it is kind of undulating.
Lotus will take a seat, and as she does, she'll pull out the container of dried tobacco and the rolling papers and start rolling them up and say, Lady Greysteel, we apologize for making you wait. We've had some things waylay us during our trip here."
She nods and she says, I understand. It's a dangerous world out there. And, well, hello, everyone. And thank you for answering my summons. And she looks to you all and she, listening to what you said, Lotus, are you all right? What happened exactly?
A pack of undead. Nothing too severe. A little bit more than that, but probably not best to speak about it here.
And she says, well, that's quite terrifying. Undead, you said?
Zombies, a couple of ghouls, had a weird aura of frost around them. Nasty things.
Well, that sounds quite terrible, and well, that kind of brings me to why I have summoned you all here. And as she goes to speak, you all can't help to notice the gigantic fish that's on the wall. Did you all see the handout that I just popped out?
Yep.
You see it says Old Bitey. Akia, as you stare into Old Bitey's eyes, the stuffed fish turns to you slightly and begins to sing. Ooh, there's a place I like to go, farther up the river's flow. Where it is, I do not know. It must be under all that snow. And then it goes back to the wall.
Very disturbing.
Danica says, don't mind the fish. It does that from every now and again. Apparently some strange wizard enchanted it to do that.
I see where they got their inspirations.
It's exactly that. Well, why I have summoned you. I have called you all to the Northlook Inn to hopefully assist me in ending this everlasting rime. I believe I have found a piece of the puzzle. I need you all to find and bring me a chawinga.
Alicia's...
What now?
Winga, they are creatures of elemental magic from my research, I have found that they can alter the natural environment around us. I feel that I can learn a great deal by studying Chewinga up close.
Alicia's eyes widen and then narrow at Danica. I hope you don't mean this to be a joke. The Knight has been covering this land for almost 2 years now.
Right? This is no joke. I believe that with the help of a Chewinga, I could find some clues to solve this long night.
DM, what would we know of what type of creature a Chewinga is?
If you were trying to assess your internal knowledge, you could make a check, and they are elementals. So this would be an Arcana check to see what you could know about Chewingas.
I'll use my Faxpiration. Or I guess you can use that after you roll?
That's correct.
I'll use my
Okay.
Faxpiration. Is that a D6?
That is. Okay, at 26. Okay. You know that Chewingas are elemental spirits that live in plants, rocks, rivers, far from civilization. They are known to live in places that are closely connected to nature. They are famously known to live in Chult and in Icewind Dale. You also know that they are only about 6 inches tall. And Chewingas, they find human beings to be fascinating. All the things that they do, if you look at it from a Chewinga's point of view, very odd things that they do. But you would
Alright.
also know they aren't naturally aggressive towards humans.
Alright. Are they cute?
Yes.
Alright. Akia does not share any of this.
Rude.
Unless it comes up.
But Alicia would like to insight this lady. And how much she truly believes that whatever research she's doing will actually prove results. Because again, it's been 2 years. I imagine a lot of people have tried quite a bit of different things. So,
Or man, okay. You can tell from her stature and how she's delivering this information, she is very sure of her hypothesis that it would be correct. She's also giving off a sense of confidence about it. You don't sense any deception, but she's also giving off a slight sense of desperation, like she needs your help in completing this task.
Alicia will kind of mull over that observation for a few moments while everyone else does stuff.
It may be difficult to find a Chewinga that is willing to become your test subject.
She nods and she says, well, that's why I have created an invention. And she pulls from her pack a lantern. She says, this is a elemental tracking lantern. With it, if you are within 300 feet of a creature from an elemental plane or some type of elemental background, the flame will turn bright green.
What color is it now?
It is not on.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I can see from your faces that you, perhaps I need to entice you a little more. Can pay you an amount of gold. I could pay you each 25 gold pieces to assist in the search.
Akia turns to Lotus. Is that enough for a library card?
No, Akia, I told you, here, like most other places I've been to, the library, at least hopefully if the Church of Auril hasn't had any more say in it since I was gone, the library here is free of charge to use and peruse. Now, if you were to want to take a book from them permanently, they might charge you for it, but other than that, using the books while you're there and perusing their materials is free of charge.
I find this difficult to believe.
Perhaps once we're finished here, I can take you there and show you for myself.
Akia just turns back to Greysteel.
Is the amount acceptable to everyone?
It's acceptable to me, but I don't profess to speak for the others.
I'm fine with it. You seem quite confident in your hypothesis, and truth be told, I would like to believe you are correct. So, I'm on board.
You see a large smile on her face as you say that.
This would increase my net worth by 2,500%. I am in.
He looks to you, Raylan.
Raylan nods but doesn't say anything.
She claps her hands twice. Excellent. Now, I have looked all over Bryn Shander, and I am quite positive that there are no Chewinga here. You would probably have better luck in another town.
And we just have to take this lantern and turn it on.
He nods, and if there is an elemental spirit within 300 feet, it will burn bright green.
I don't know if anyone else will take it, but if not, Alicia will. Seems simple enough.
She will hand it to you, and I will drop that into your inventory. You now have a lantern of tracking elementals. She will also give you some flasks of oil to light it. So I'm going to just increase your oil flask amount from 1 to 10, as she gives you enough oil to search.
I didn't think she was going to give that much, but perfect.
Is Gaiman drinking heavily?
Yep. He is drinking and eating and generally being a bit of a lout.
Ram sex.
Kind of hoping to piss somebody off and start a brawl.
Oh my gosh, okay. The NPC giving you guys this mission says, well, Thanes of Tin Towns, do you have any questions for me?
It doesn't have to be played out here, but I mean, Alicia would like to inquire a little bit more into how she arrived at this hypothesis and how it'll kind of dispel the darkness over Icewind Dale.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, in my research of Chewinga, at least the Chewinga that live in Cholt are able to bestow upon us mortals magical charms that can affect the environment. I am hoping that when I meet with the Chewinga, I study them, I can befriend them, and hopefully they can teach us a way to end this awful night, that we can live together symbiotically.
I find this fascinating. Even the light of the Morning Lord hasn't seemed to be able to pierce this veil of darkness. But I guess a creature more from the natural world instead of the divine may have a better chance.
He nods. I agree. Even Our Lady of Silver, Selune, her motes of light, her tears, have not shone brightly upon this world. It's as if darkness itself has taken over.
Fascinating. And then this will kind of just divulge into a what's the word? Oh god, I'm blanking on the name of the word, but essentially like a religious kind of discussion of arcane and divine differences, more or less.
In the conversation, she would divulge to you that she is an acolyte of Selune, the goddess of the moon.
Interesting. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing for a little bit. So I don't know if anyone else has anything.
Well, Lotus would just sort of be listening to your conversation and taking notes for a while. She would just sort of notice Kia walking away, but then look over at Raylan and say, like, "So, have you heard about anything? So, how was your how were your errands here?"
I look at Lotus and pat the bag of glass vials that I got from these shady merchants and just kind of nod approvingly.
I see. She doesn't inquire any further, just gives a soft nod. Well, I did manage to pick up some more of the things I needed, and she finished rolling up her cigarettes, and you see her put them in the pack at her side. Honestly, I'm not really sure how I'd be able to survive without these.
Raylan's never smoked, but is intrigued what it is humans get out of, or not humans, what the shorter-lived races get out of such a thing, but doesn't inquire.
So,
Seem-
yeah, you will go ahead and take one out, and just like before, give a few snaps of her fingers for prestidigitation to light it, and say, the thing that kind of really gets me right now. She takes a puff. It's what those arcane brotherhood folks are looking for.
The person you were meeting with, Danica, leans in, and are you guys having this conversation near her?
Oh yeah, I'd imagine. Yeah, Lois would still be sitting in the same chair as she was before.
Says the Arcane Brotherhood? I've heard rumors that they were here, but I thought it was just that, rumors.
We've been hearing rumors about them too. We haven't encountered them yet. He takes another puff. But, I kind of figure if enough of them are around, the rumors are spreading, they gotta be looking for something. Which, I'll be honest, maybe they are looking for the same thing I am.
Oh, that sounds mysterious. What are you looking for?
Seems to think for a moment. Says, well, knew this was going to come up eventually. You see her flip through her notebook. She opens it up and opens it to a page, and I'll go ahead and put it on Discord here. I gotta put it in general there. So what you would see is a sketch of a strange creature with round eyes and a squid-like face, and you see in her familiar handwriting a caption above it that says, "Misery comes on beat."
And the acolyte of Selune gasps. You search for illithids?
Sort of looks a bit curiously. Oh, is that what you call them here?
Raylan looks over her shoulder at the mention of illithids.
She'll lean in very close because she doesn't want too many others to hear this. You see these things, she says with particular venom in her voice. They are the reason I'm here.
Are they your parents?
She just like inhales suddenly and then starts coughing. Makes smoke away from her face. Gods, I hope not. No. They kidnapped me from my home.
You were kidnapped?
Sort of. Well, they led me into a trap. One of their followers told me that I could get a good story out of a deranged cult that had been meeting in an abandoned warehouse, and I, like an idiot, thought that it would be great if I went on my own without telling anyone else where I was going. Just figuring I could get the scoop before anyone else does. So I went, and they led me right into a trap, and they took me and did some rather she just sort of trails off, and you see her just gripping the arm of the chair rather tightly. Some unspeakable things to me, and I escaped, and made my way through the frozen wilderness on my own. I collapsed, but thankfully some trappers found me and brought me here.
You said you were looking for these illithids. What makes you think they're up here in Icewind Dale?
The thing that they had me on, this would be hard to describe. Sort of like a ship, except instead of traveling through the water, it would. Probably won't believe this, that it would actually travel through the air.
Oh. Don't think I've heard of one of those before.
Well, this ship they were doing these things to me in. Well, when I escaped, I blasted apart a good chunk of it and crashed somewhere. I couldn't say for sure where. Uh, there was a really bad storm going on, and I really had no idea of the my bearings of this place until I woke up here.
Well, praise the morning lord that you were discovered before you succumbed to the weather.
Indeed. Apparently, my draconic ancestry lends me some resistance to the cold weather. I had that even before I came here, but the things they did to me, well, and she points to the lotus mark on the mask. It's how I got this. They put it on me.
Ah. Hmm.
I seek this ship to find a personal item of mine that I left there. And also, and you see her clench her fist to finish what I started.
Well, not gonna lie, those creatures that you sketched out looked a little unnerving. But if you need assistance in dealing with them, I won't back down.
Another long drag from the cigarette says, I appreciate it. I will say, you and the others here are some of the friendliest faces I've met. Well, friendly in a way. I say as my gaze goes over towards Gaiman and his drunken revelry.
Ah, well, he has his own type of charm.
I'm telling you, I could arm wrestle anyone here with both arms tied behind my back.
To call out, I think you have to have one arm free to arm wrestle, Gaiman.
Shut up! I know what I'm doing.
Yes,
As you say
clearly.
that, a call comes up from the doorway. I will take you up on that offer.
Oh, who said that?
You see a half-elven woman walk through the door. It was I who said that. The woman kind of moves through the bar like a shadow, sliding in out from in between the people inside of it. Her red eyes glare at you, Gaiman, as she rests on the table and her elbow drops to the table with such force that the music stops.
Record scratch.
All right.
And she says, "Shall we play?" And you see her knuckles kind of crack, and it makes that cracking noise that's very disgusting. Best 2 out of 3 games, or all or nothing?
Well, considering your fraction of my size, I think it'd only be sporting to do 2 out of 3. You know, give me a chance or whatnot.
She chuckles and she says, "It's not all about your size, darling." As she sits down next to you and puts her left arm on the table.
You're left-handed.
She shakes her head. "No."
Well, come on, put up your right. You're being weird about it.
He says, "If you wish." And she removes her left arm from the table. Her right arm was covered with a cloak. As she flips the cloak off of her right arm, you see that her right arm is completely frostbitten as she puts it onto the table. And she cracks her knuckles as her fingers move.
Ew. What happened to your arm? I'm not gonna, take advantage of someone who's got all whatever that is business going on.
She smiles, revealing a set of blackened teeth, and she says, "Don't worry. You'll be fine."
All right, well, I'm game if you are.
Absolutely. So this will be a battle of athletics checks as you guys push against each other's arms with your might.
All right. Well, I think it's only fitting since we're doing 2 out of 3. Make this first roll a straight roll. We'll see what happens.
Here is her athletics check. Oh, it was terrible. You are able to take her frostbitten hand down to the table. As a Goliath, I believe you have cold resistance, so you do not feel its bite and sting against your hand. But you see, as her hand contacts the table, a slight sheen of rime covers its surface.
That's a neat trick. You must be a real kick at parties. Always keeping everyone's ale perpetually cold.
She laughs. Yes. That's what I do. Shall we go one more time?
Well, I did say we were going to be sporting lot. 2 out of 3.
All right, here we go. Second athletics. This time, her hand kind of crunches down, and you can feel the bones shift inside your skin as she squeezes your hand down to the table. That Rime was covering the table is now kind of started to cover your arm.
Gaiman will pull his arm back and massage his hands like, "You were playing dirty. That makes me mad. I'm gonna cut your ego to eyes."
She starts to laugh. Oh,
Third one
sorry.
and final.
Yes. Is this a sign that Gaiman is going to rage?
Yes.
Okay, absolutely. So you start to get angry, and as the tension in the room pulls up, the musicians start to play again. And yeah, athletics from you at advantage. Oh, my dice is flipping around the screen.
Okay, 18.
4.
Oh my goodness, a tie.
And
Yeah.
what happens? The table breaks underneath your guys' arms as your muscles are like flexing. You can see that her frostbitten arm kind of grows slightly in size as the blackened and blued flesh kind of pulsates, and that rime kind of slightly covers your hand. And as the table breaks, she looks at you deep in the eyes, licks her lips, revealing her blackened teeth again, and releases your hand.
I believe that is a draw.
He looks at you and says, "Good showing. What is your name, combatant?"
Gaiman's going back to massaging his hand. In the glaive. And you are really fucking strong for your size.
Thibble. Sithreth. And she pulls the cloak back over her right arm, and she flashes a blackened, toothy grin to everyone. And says,
When she
"Oh, go ahead."
mentions, I was gonna say when she mentions her name, Akia will drop the table that they were mending, and it'll break again.
Scrim Sacks goes, "Ah!" as the table breaks into like quarters.
Miss Sithreth, I actually had business with you. If you have a moment.
Says, "Yes, I was coming here for a drink, but have found so much more exciting thing."
Is it possible that I could have a private conversation with you?
He says, And she looks at you deeply, and you see her nostrils kind of flare as she sniffs. And she looks at you and she says, "I sense something about you. Something precious. Why, yes, I think I will meet with you privately."
Akia just sort of slumps at that because they are very, very used to getting that from the Church of Auril.
She is looking at you like
And it
I
is-
look at you
Mhm.
at cake.
Mm-hmm. It is exasperating for Akia. Is this like a spare room over here?
Absolutely. Party members, you see this woman stand up, her frozen arm underneath her cloak as she walks to meet with your friend Akia.
As she's kind of leaving, Alicia is approaching Gaiman just to kind of check on him, but will kind of turn to look at Sybil, Miss Sisters, kind of narrowing her eyes, but then relaxing, and then just gives a polite nod to her.
Says, the Lady Alpin. She holds her left hand to her nose. Out of Targos, I see.
Same to you as well.
Interesting.
Did you have business in Brinchander?
She nods. There is some changes that needed to be happened. Something about a library. You would have to go see it for yourself.
Well, it seems one of my companions wishes to speak to you, so I will not keep you waiting.
She nods. Another time. And she flaps her cloak like a bad guy as she walks away.
Yeah, and then Alicia will just check on Gaiman. See how his arm is after that.
Yes, Lotus will come over to help you with that.
You alright there?
Well, it
Big
was
Phil?
just a bit arm wrestling.
Well, yes,
It's
but
fine.
her arm is a bit odd. I've only seen it once before, and it was a bit unnerving. Just making sure you were okay.
Yeah. It's fine. Just
Tingly.
I wasn't expecting that outcome.
You mean you weren't expecting an outcome where you would lose?
Technically, he didn't lose, but he also didn't win.
Yeah, it's more the me not.
You kind of cut out there.
Listen, didn't take an ask. Ultimately, I come out on top, you know. But it was a draw. It's not a good sign. It means that it's not going to be the last we see of her.
All right, let me just make sure I get this in my notes here. Let's see. Gaiman the Glaive likes to be on top. And that is an exact quote.
Alicia just shakes their head.
No, what I said is I usually come out on top. Don't necessarily. Wait, what are we talking about here? I don't think we're talking about the same thing. You're not talking about the same thing I'm talking about.
I don't think either of you are talking about the same thing. From what Alicia has interacted with the Church of Auril, do all of their priests and priestesses have like blackened teeth and like frostbite on them? Or is her case a little bit more particular?
Her case is a little bit more particular because she is considered a high priest. It's come to your understanding that members of the church that are even in higher standing have even more strange conditions about them.
Okay. So then, yeah, hearing the comment from Danica, Alicia will kind of clarify. Sybil is more of a mid-ranking member within the church, so her condition isn't that unusual for their organization. Though, at least from my understanding, the higher they go, the more exhibits of frostbite or other maladies from the frosts occur, but it doesn't seem to affect them. Very strange lot, I must say.
She nods and says, well, I would not want to have arm wrestled her. Let's just say that.
That'd be for the best.
And as you all are speaking, Akia, should we cut to the conversation that you're having with Sybil?
I'm ready if you are.
Yes. She is sitting at the table across from you, ready to hear what you had to say.
Miss Sithreth, I had actually planned to come see you at the church later. It was fortuitous to meet you at this location.
She nods. She said, I had a feeling that tonight would not be just another night of sipping mead before my dark devotions.
I do not wish to take much of your time. Have you heard of the Ice Knife Killer?
Make an insight check.
I don't think Akia would make an insight check. I think they would just take whatever they Cithra said at face value. But I'll go ahead and throw it out. But I don't think that they're
Rolling hot tonight.
trying to suss out deception. I don't think they're really interested in sussing out deception at this point.
She says, I have heard of this killer. So terrible. Everyone living in fear of who will be next. Will I be the next victim with a dagger in my heart? Yes, quite concerning.
Yes.
Oh, what's happening?
What bothers me in particular is that these killings seem to coincide in a manner with the and the player's locking up for a second. The sacrifices. With the sacrifices made to Auril, it would seem that the killer has decided to make this a religious event of sorts.
The priest of Auril looks to you and says, I have just been so wrapped up in my affairs, I've not looked into this killer. So you think that it has something to do with our offerings to Lady Frostkiss?
I believe that it undermines the church's authority. If these killings continue, if the church does nothing, the authority of the church to be the voices of Auril will be called into question.
She looks to you and says, And that is if these killings are indeed motivated by the sacrifices.
It does not actually matter if they are motivated by the sacrifices or not. It is the perception of the people. If they coincide with the offerings, albeit with a slight delay, if the people believe that they are influenced by the offerings and that the church does not do anything to stop them, it undermines your authority.
Well, yes, we wouldn't want that to happen, but I guess we would have to look further into these killings to be sure. We wouldn't just want a serial killer running around and offing everyone, would we? That would be terrible.
Actually, if it was a random serial killer, I don't believe it would be an issue for you.
And her head cocks. How so? I could be next.
Well, if it was a random serial killer, then the Church of Auril would not have any relation to it. And your authority would not be called into question. Instead, it would be the authority of the town's guards that would be usurped.
She nods. Oh. But they seem to have been unable to solve these killings as of now.
I have not heard of any progress being made.
I wonder why they haven't been able to solve it yet.
But if these killings continue, and they continue to happen, I believe we were told 1 week or so after the Man, I keep tripping up over that word. Offerings. If they continue to coincide with the offerings, it shows that the offerings are possibly thought of to be not enough. And if they are thought of to be not enough, or that the offerings do not placate Auril, then the citizens will begin to wonder why they have the offerings at all.
That is an interesting thought.
That would severely hamper the Church of Auril.
Well,
At which time there could be a power vacuum. And that would lead to great distress amongst the people. And would be very bad for the Church of Auril. So I believe it is in the Church's best interest if they stop these murderers.
She nods. She says, but have you thought about it this way? What if these people being killed by the ice knife killer, what if they deserved to die?
That has no bearing on my argument.
She smiles slightly. Well, consider it this way. The people that are sacrificed, they are, of course, for the betterment of your town, protection from Auril's anger. These people being killed by the ice knife killer. Maybe they are just a secondary sacrifice.
Exactly. That is the problem. If they are seen as a secondary sacrifice not sanctioned by the Church, then it comes into question the Church's authority.
She looks pondering at you. You've had a lot of time to think about this and come up with a good sequence of thoughts. I will have to bring these to my superiors. Looks like I won't be drinking mead this night.
I do not believe there is a hurry. There simply must be something done before the next murder. As in my understanding, that it'll be several weeks before the Ice Knife Killer strikes again. Please, enjoy your night, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you for yours, Midwinter child. She smiles, showing her black teeth. It was nice talking to you.
And thanking her for her time, Akia will begin to leave the room.
She says, make sure that you're here that day, the day of the new moon. I would love to see what you think when the name is drawn from the hopper.
I will probably not be able to make it.
Another time, then.
There's just the slightest hint of disgust when Akia says that they won't be able to make it. Just the slightest.
And you just hear her kind of like steepling her fingers together in the room.
Thank you. My conversation has concluded.
You all see the woman stand up, look at you all individually as she walks out, and says, let's have a rematch sometime, Mr. Glaive.
Yeah, something tells me we will. Smell you later!
She says, I hope that you will. And then she closes the door.
Did she just crop dust us?
She did not, but that would be
I would be a
Guys, you
thing
know
to
how I
do.
know that she was really evil? She fucking crop dusted us. She left the bar. Oh my gosh.
Alicia was just looking at Sybil like you would a coworker that you don't like but are forced to work with. As she just walks and leaves. But says nothing.
I believe the Church of Auril may look into the Ice Knife Killer problem. However, there is an extremely high probability that the Ice Knife Killer is a member of the Church of Auril.
Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me. But there's no immediate proof surrounding that at the moment.
The guards are quite inept. It wouldn't surprise me if they haven't missed something.
Well,
I would say there is about a 95% chance that the Ice Knife Killer and the Church of Auril are connected.
well,
If that is the case, perhaps the library would be a good stop. Apparently, since I had left, they've been up to something in there.
it also seems maybe some of the guards have gone over to this Torg's pop-up market. Don't know if they are doing an investigation or just window shopping. I was hoping to go ask them.
Let us make haste, then. I've heard that the light closes in 12 minutes.
So, this is probably the perfect place. So, as you guys go to exit the door, and you have the information from Danica, do you guys head to the library?
Yes?
I guess what would be the location of where all this stuff is?
I am not going to no fucking library.
Probably need to go to the gym, big man.
And you need to go mind your own business.
Gammon, would you like to accompany me to this market?
Yes, I would.
So the market is outside of town. The library is in town. So, so half is going to the library, half is going to the market.
Seems like it.
Okay.
So I guess OOC. Are we planning to? I guess what time of day is it right now? It looks like it's what, about 1 o'clock ish.
It's
Yep.
dark o'clock.
Well, I think
Yeah,
I think we're within the light hours, aren't we?
Yep, you have light until 2 p.m.
Okay. Well, I guess if we're staying here for the day, maybe does the North Look have rooms?
Yes, it does.
Maybe same thing. After a couple hours, regroup back at the North Look.
Sounds good.
All right. I guess Alicia will go north with Gaiman to this market.
And who's heading to the library?
You know what Kia is.
Yep, and I'll go with the Kia.
And as will Raylan.
Okay. So we'll focus on the library. As you all approach the library, we will say it is in this building here. You see from the outside a building that was once, covered in lanterns, kind of a bright place in town. The lanterns have been stripped and taken off of the building. The doors that were wide open for visitors have basically been boarded shut. Boards crossing them. A large pit has been dug next to the library. Do you look inside the pit?
This pit is new.
Yes, I don't recall this being here before I left.
I'll look inside the pit.
Inside the pit, you see a floating abyss, as it is filled with water and chunks of ice. Inside the water, you see books encased in rime moving through the water below the surface. As you see these sources of information, these beacons of hope, destroyed in the water. Let's go ahead and pause there, and I will take you back to the loading screen. You guys know how those people are really evil? They put all the books in a pit.
Well, damn.
Excellent. So everybody, if you guys have any feedback for me, please send that to me publicly, privately, for how I can make the game run better. For the 23rd and the 30th, is anyone not able to play those 2 days?
Raylan is available.
Gaming has it's going to be hosting New Year's Eve festivities that entire weekend for friends with his wife, so it will not be available on the 30th.
Yeah. So what we might do, we will play the 23rd because we have everybody on the 30th because we won't have Gaiman. Let's either do a one shot or let's think of something to do. That way we can all kind of be at the same place story wise.
Sounds good to
Because
me.
Sounds good.
Stay with the story because right now I feel like it's getting very intense. So everyone, I want to thank you guys for playing. If you guys have any feedback, if you guys have anything like that, please hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys for our next session next week.
Thanks for hosting and have a great weekend.
Yeah,
My
thanks,
pleasure.
Thanks
I
for
hope
the
you-
game.
That
Yeah,
is
good
destroying
game.
the box. Those bastards.
I hope you guys have a good one, and I hope that you aren't triggered by being books destroyed or by Christmas critters.
The
Gaming doesn't care about the books, but David is very upset about the books. Books are important.
I agree. All right, y'all. I gotta head to bed. I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Night.
Hey, good night, everybody.
Thanks for running. And
Night.
thanks everyone for tuning in.
Night.
Catch you on the next one.